Hey everyone, and welcome to r/ProRevenge, where we get to see some of the best revenge stories found on Reddit, if not all of the internet. Now, this first one is absolutely amazing, so I won't waste another second and get straight into this first one by user/mediocre fisherman. Back in September, I went to look at a pair of moose antlers on Facebook Marketplace that my dad was interested in. He lives in a small cabin on my property and thought the antlers would look cool over his front door. We get there, and the dude is clearly high on coke. Jittery, keeps wiping his nose, and etc. We met him at a storage rental place, so he had to let us in with his code, and we were stuck in the facility until he let us back out. We get to his rental unit, and he gets the antlers out. They were very clearly fake. He said he'd spray painted them brown to make sure they looked like they were still in velvet. It was obvious he'd spray painted them to make them look real. The weight was off, the colour was off, there were several large cracks in them, and you could see they were white inside, not bone coloured. There were also several points broken off, and the material inside was white and powdery. Again, not bone. He kept insisting they could be fixed with some Epic C. Finally, tapping your fingers on them made a drum noise, so they were hollow inside. At this point, I hadn't said a word at all. I was just along for the ride with my dad. Dad politely tells the guy that they were going to pass. He thinks they're fake. Thanks, but no thanks. This guy goes off the deep end, screaming at us, calling us all sorts of names, insulting us, our mothers, and etc. Then he starts screaming at us that we were locked in there with him and weren't leaving until he was ready to go. Dad and I get in the truck, and luckily another customer was coming into their unit, and we were able to get out of the lock gate when they came in. We both thought it was hilarious, how off the wall this guy acted, and how fake the antlers looked in person. I stew on this for a few weeks, and finally come up with a revenge plan. I didn't say a single word to the guy, and he insulted my entire family tree, wife, intelligence, and etc. I created a new Facebook account with the dumbest old person name I could come up with. Then I used a bunch of Hide the Pain Harold photos to populate it with. Then started adding as many friends as I could, posting dumb stuff about old black and white movies, my prostate, and etc. Spent a few days loading this account as much as I could. Then, once the account was 2 weeks old and I could get on Facebook groups, I go to a few of the groups I knew this guy was on and find some of the items he had for sale. Luckily, he had 2 large bookcases for sale. Great, something big and awkward to move around. Next, I do some research and find the most pain-in-the-butt location in my city to get to. I pick a place that has no highway on-ramps, so it takes at least half an hour to get off the highway. I message him and I ask if he'd deliver since I only have a sedan. And then he says yes, for $50 to cover his gas and a helper because they would take 2 people to move around. We set up a date and time, and I tell him I'm going to meet him at a nearby grocery store since my house is hard to find. Finally, the time arrives. He messages me that he's at the grocery store. Now I come up with every annoying old person slow thing I can think of. I'm putting my shoes on, my wife's in the shower, and I can't leave in case she slips. Then, oh, we haven't gone anywhere in so long because of this virus, my car battery is dead. Mr. Scammer finally asks for my address and says he'll find the place. I get on Google Maps and find the most pain-in-the-butt street to get to, knowing he's driving a full-size van and towing a trailer with the bookshelves. So I find a street in the very centre of an old, badly laid out neighbourhood, get on Street View and look for where the house number stops, and pick a number a few above that one. I tested on Google Maps, and Google Maps isn't smart enough to know that house number doesn't exist. It just points you at the end of a dead-end street. So I relay this address. Of course, I make sure to mess it up a few times and get him lost in the process. After about 90 minutes, he messages me that he can't find that house number, but he's on my street. Can I please come outside? I reply back with, no thanks. Him, no thanks what? I walked out there and saw them, not interested in buying. My Facebook account blows up for the next hour with him trying to call me, video chat, sending all kinds of horrible messages about how I'm a liar and a cheater. I never respond back. I check it occasionally, and about every 2 weeks he sends me a nasty message still. Dude had no idea who it was that messed with him or why it happened. I'm kind of debating about doing it again. Yes, OP, this is the sort of stuff we want to see. This scammer wasted your time, so you wasted his. I expect absolutely no less from r/ProRevenge, and if you do it again, hey, seriously, update to this post. We need to see this. We need to see a part 2 because that was some really nice creative revenge. You clearly didn't mind spending a little bit of extra time on it, and it paid off. And here's the next one by user/AmberKatieMay. So, when I was 15, I was diagnosed with bipolar schizophrenia. Now, despite what TV shows and movies portray it as, not all people with schizophrenia are serial killers. If you can keep your medication in balance, you can live a perfect normal life. From the ages of 15 to 20 was rather hard as we tried to find the right balance and medication for me. But it's been 11 years since I was first diagnosed, and it's been 6 years since I've had any really bad symptoms. There have been a few minor issues where my meds would go out of balance, but nothing too extreme. Anyway, this happened 3 years ago. I just moved into a new apartment with 2 new roommates. We'll call them Zach and Rachel. Yes, those are their real names, cause F them. Anyways, due to my illness, I take multiple medication. An antipsychotic, antidepressants, and an anti-anxiety medication, just to name a few. These are all rather strong medications. So when I moved in and got settled in, I started noticing that some of my meds started going missing. I have my pills counted out and ready, so I know exactly how many I have. I immediately suspect my roommates, as they were the only ones with access to my room. I also knew for a fact they took other medications to get high. They were pretty open about it. But I had no proof, and didn't want to risk annoying them as I had to live with them. So I looked past it, hoping it was a one-time thing. But it wasn't. After a few days of this, I lost it and confronted them. They denied it, and of course I had no proof. I even got a lock for my room, but somehow they still managed to get it. So here is where the revenge starts. So due to all my medication, I get constipated a lot, so I have a very strong laxative I take when this happens. They're tiny, pinkish pills. If you don't know about medication, you could easily mistake these for something else. One morning before heading to work, I took my antipsychotic pills bottle and switched out the pills for my laxatives. And then I left. When I came home that evening, both my roommates were in the washrooms. I asked Rachel what was wrong, but she made up some BS food poisoning excuse. They spent the whole night in and out of the bathrooms. My medication stopped disappearing after that night. And the best part, OP, is sometimes all this medication has some pretty strange after effects, and even if they confessed to it, you could have been like, I've got no idea, this is just medication, shouldn't have touched it, maybe it's just a side effect, I have no idea about it. But come on, seriously, stealing someone else's meds, not good enough, guys. If you do that, you deserve to end up in r/ProRevenge, because, well, no, you don't take people's meds. And here's the next one, but he's a not a bad guy. So, I moved into a 4-bedroom uni house. I knew 2 of my housemates, let's call them Abby and Ben. Due to unfortunate circumstances, our previously planned housemate didn't live with us. So, we found a new one, Chloe. Chloe is a horrible housemate. This becomes apparent when they never paid any bills or rent on time, smoke like a chimney inside, against our agreement. Left the home for a few days, leaving a big pile of washing up for us to do, including our pots and pans. Scream gaming on their laptop all the time till 5 AM, the walls are thin. And that's just to name a few things. Basically, they suck. So it gets till about 4 months in, we can't stand Chloe, so have a house meeting. Basically, we sit there and try to explain how we'd prefer that they don't scream at their laptop, I assume gaming, until 5 AM every night as all of us get up early. Everything we bring up, Chloe denied it. We've each lent Chloe a month's rent and bills too, and Chloe hasn't paid any of us back. Over $1,000 between us. Chloe denied it, saying, I don't owe you. At this point, me, Abby and Ben are all pretty mad. Then, a few weeks later was a Saturday night, and being students, Abby and Ben and me invited friends round for pre-drinks. We asked Chloe first, and they said they would be out, so that's fine. Turns out they finished work early, so they came home and were shocked to find people there. Went to their room, but kept coming down and turning the music down. It wasn't even loud in the first place. Chloe got so angry and threw my speaker out the window. I didn't see Chloe do it, but loads of people told me so. I'd had enough. I went to go get my speaker, Chloe came with me to my surprise. And as Chloe left, in full visibility of me, keyed my car parked in the driveway. I got up with my speaker and shouted as she walked off. Luckily, we have an automatic light on the side of the house, and a car was driving down my road at the time, and the driver said they had a dash cam and probably caught it out of the window to me. I stopped shouting in disbelief and gave him my email address. Went about my night, enjoying the party. When it was time to leave, a lot of us hadn't finished our alcohol, so left it on the kitchen table and left. When we got back the next day and had sobered up in the morning, we found all the alcohol had been taken, along with a speaker, some headphones, and my laptop. Now, I was really mad. The revenge. I logged into my housemate's laptop on my email. This guy had pulled through, sent me a small clip of Chloe keying the car along with several close-up stills showing the key in contact. I first confronted Chloe asking if they knew where my stuff was while Abby and Ben secretly recorded on their phones. Things got heated and they looked like they were going to fight me. I'm a big guy, 6'4", and I'm really not scared. I was just basically annoying Chloe. Chloe then swung her fist at me a few times, making contact, but I didn't fight back. I put my hands and arms over my head and face. Chloe then stomps off, thinking they won. Let me remind you, Abby and Ben were recording. I call the police, they show up, I basically say I have good reason to believe Chloe stole my alcohol and other possessions. They go up and knock on Chloe's door. Go away! They can't go in without a search warrant. I file a report about assault and the things stolen relating to the two. The police are very nice and basically tell me how to fill it in. They come back the next day with a warrant for Chloe's arrest for assault and battery. They then search her room and find all the stolen alcohol bottles, my headphones, which clearly were mine as they only paired with my phone, and my laptop and damaged speakers. I sued Chloe and won. I had indisputable evidence along with witnesses for all the events. I got about $3,000 for the car, speaker, and rent Chloe owed us, and an additional $5,000. Chloe went to prison for resisting arrest, assaulting a police officer, assault, destruction of property, theft, and battery. Chloe still had to pay rent for her room, which we used as a gym. Yeah, well, Abby, I guess you got the revenge you deserved. As with a lot of these pro-revenge stories, hey, your roommate was being an absolute piece of garbage, and well, she really got what was coming for her. What she did is she did steal stuff, and well, yeah, she got what she deserved. And guys, I think that post is going to be the last one for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to subscribe to the channel for Reddit videos once every week. That's right, new Reddit videos every single week on a whole bunch of different subreddits. But with that said, you guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and all I want to do is see you all here next time. See you later, guys.